My life's journey thus far has been a divine jazz riff, steadied by an ever-present and constant backbeat, a strong rhythmic foundation of love, ancestral pride, and an unwavering faith in an almighty God. A foundation laid by my wonderful parents and the amazing village that nurtured me growing up in the north central Florida small town of Alachua. I was born in 1962, right in the middle of the American Civil Rights Movement, born in the bosom of extraordinary change, upheaval, and protest. I was in the second grade when Alachua County's public school district integrated. It was in this atmosphere, this environment that I learned and mastered the survival art and nuance of navigating white spaces in black skin. I am an artist. I am an artist. I am an artist. It took me nearly half a century to fix my mouth, form my lips, position my tongue in a manner that would permit me to utter those beautiful, frightening, liberating words of affirmation. I am an artist. I am also a citizen scientist at the University of Florida Clinical and Translational Science Institute, Department of Health Outcomes and Biomedical Informatics. I do oftentimes wonder, how did I get here in this place of PhDs, MDs, medical science, and clinical research? Well, it was serendipitous. My introduction to the Citizen Scientist program was 3 years ago. It happened at one of those beautiful intersections of art and everything else. I was on stage at a local theater. I was portraying Frederick Douglass in a play in Splendid Era. The play revolved around the friendship between abolitionist Frederick Douglass and John Brown, and Frederick Douglass's reluctance to accompany John Brown on his raid at Harper's Ferry. On this particular evening, someone connected to the Citizen Scientist program was in the audience, and after witnessing my wondrous performance, I thought I would be a good candidate for the program, and subsequently asked me if I was interested in such an endeavor. I interviewed for the position and was hired. Afterwards, I went through a rather extensive training program where I learned all about the basics of clinical research. So, what is a citizen scientist, and what does a citizen scientist do? I'm glad you asked that question. Believe me, I had the same questions. The Citizen Scientist program at the University of Florida began in 2015 with the initiation of the One Florida Clinical Research Consortium. Citizen scientists are community stakeholders and serve as consultants to researchers. We review proposals and provide our perspectives on projects from study design, implementation, and all the way to the dissemination of the results. We are a very diverse group and represent different social demographics. And we bring with us our own unique life-lived experiences. Citizen science is an approach to research that incorporates the public being directly involved in the research process as partners and collaborators. I remember my first interaction as a citizen scientist, my very first engagement with researchers at the university. I was quite nervous, as you may imagine. How will they receive me? What will they think of me? Do they really value what I have to say? As I recall, this particular research project was at the recruitment stage, trying to get participants from the community who may benefit from this kind of a study. I and other citizen scientists were asked to review the handout information, the materials to be used to engage the community to get participants for the study. After reading over some of the material, one word in particular gave me serious pause. And after a brief debate with myself, I mustered up the courage and very cautiously asked the question. Excuse me. I have a question. What is the investigator? I was told that the investigator is just another name for researcher. Okay, but will you consider the possibility, or maybe perhaps using another word instead of investigator? Because the connotation of that word in some communities is rather intrusive and authoritarian and may evoke thoughts of the police or other government agencies. I think by using the word investigator, you are going to lose some folks right off the rip. And the room went silent. At our next meeting, the principal researcher thanked me for my input and informed me that he had rewritten all of the informational material and not used the word investigator. Wow. Maybe they do really value my voice and my perspective. Since that very first meeting 3 years ago, I've been involved in many different kinds of research projects, including COVID-19 studies, cancer research, and other research projects. Recently, I was asked to serve on the University of Florida Health Cancer Center Community Advisory Board. On occasion, I still do ponder the question, why am I here in this space? Do you know that 90% of the participants in all clinical trials are white? Maybe the reason I am here is to help bridge the gap between my community and clinical research, to help shed light on the historical impact of racism and discrimination in clinical research practices, and how the lack of diversity in clinical research negatively impacts the Black community. For whatever reason I am here, and forever how long I am here, I am here. So thank you, University of Florida, for your Citizen Scientist program, and thank you for listening to my story.